I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. Joel chapter 1. Here we go. We are starting the prophets now. I also want to mention that this video does have a Joseph Smith translation in it. What the Joseph Smith translation is, this is an inspired translation or correction of the Bible done by Joseph Smith to restore those passages that had been lost over the years. Call a solemn assembly and gather to the house of the Lord, for the day of the Lord is at hand. The word of the Lord that came to Joel, the son of Pethuel. Hear this, ye old men, and give ear, all ye inhabitants of the land. Hath this been in your days, or even in the days of your fathers? Tell ye your children of it, and let your children tell their children, and their children another generation. That which the palmer worm hath left, hath the locust eaten, and that which the locust hath left, hath the cankerworm eaten, and that which the cankerworm hath left, hath the caterpillar eaten. Awake, ye drunkards, and weep, and howl, all ye drinkers of wine, because of the new wine, for it is cut off from your mouth. For a nation has come up upon my land, strong and without number, whose teeth are the teeth of a lion, and he hath the cheek teeth of a great lion. He hath laid my vine waste, and barked my fig tree. He hath made it clean bare, and cast it away. The branches thereof are made white. So here's a couple of things. This is interesting stuff. He talks about a nation has come up upon my land. We're talking about an invading nation. Now, it does talk about the drought and plague of locusts here. You'll know, I believe this is very similar to the plague of locusts in Egypt too, because what the palmer worm hath left, the locust hath eaten. What the locust hath left, the cankerworm hath eaten. What the cankerworm hath left, the caterpillar hath eaten. These are the 4 stages or development of locusts. That's what it said in the footnote here. 4 varieties or stages of growth of locusts. So the adults don't eat, the kids eat. The kids don't eat, the infants eat. Kind of thing. And this is saying the plague is so bad that there's nothing left. It is sweeping through the land, destroying everything. And then it talks about the nation coming in, whose teeth are like a lion, hath laid waste my vine, barked my fig tree. He's destroyed the plants. To bark the tree is to strip the bark off of it, which means that it will not survive. That will kill the tree. So the locusts are being compared to an invading army that is coming in to destroy everything. Verse 8. Lament like a virgin girded with sackcloth for the husband of her youth. The meat offering and the drink offering is cut off from the house of the Lord. The priests, the Lord's ministers, mourn. The field is wasted, the land mourneth, for the corn is wasted. The new wine is dried up, the oil languisheth. Be ye ashamed, O ye husbandmen, howl, O ye vine dressers, for the wheat and for the barley, because the harvest of the field is perished. The vine is dried up, and the fig tree languisheth. The pomegranate tree, the palm tree also, and the apple tree, even all the trees of the field are withered, because joy is withered away from the sons of men. Gird yourselves and lament, ye priests. Howl, ye ministers of the altar. Come, lie all night in sackcloth, ye ministers of my God. For the meat offering and the drink offering is withholden from the house of your God. That's also very interesting. Now, in verse 10 here, where it says corn, that just means grain. It's a general term for grain in the Bible, the word corn. There's a lot of cross-references here that I'm not going to bother looking up, but this is basically saying lament because all the food's gone. Everything's been destroyed. The tree, the crops, the grain, the crops of grain are wasted, are destroyed. The grapes, the vines, the trees, nothing is producing. It is all gone. It is so bad that there is no offerings being made to the temple. Now the one thing here says, lament like a virgin girded with sackcloth for the husband of her youth. This is talking about lament for the woman whose husband died young. In other words, she got married when she was young, and shortly after her marriage, her husband died, which means that she is basically going to live the rest of her life alone. Lament in that way, the same kind of lamenting. Interesting. But let's finish this out. Verse 14. Sanctify ye a fast, call a solemn assembly, gather the elders and all the inhabitants of the land into the house of the Lord your God, and cry unto the Lord. Alas for the day of the Lord is at hand, and as a destruction from the Almighty shall it come. Is not the meat cut off before our eyes? Yea, joy and gladness from the house of our God. The seed is rotten under the clods. The garners are laid desolate. The barns are broken down, for the corn is withered. How do the beasts groan? The herds of cattle are perplexed, because they have no pasture. Yea, the flocks of sheep are made desolate. O Lord, to thee will I cry, for the fire hath devoured the pastures of the wilderness, and the flame hath burned all the trees of the field. The beasts of the field cry also unto thee, for the rivers of waters are dried up, and the fire hath devoured the pastures of the wilderness. So he's like, call your assembly. I like that. Call your solemn assembly. Call the solemn assembly, sanctify a fast. Alas for the day of the Lord is at hand. Honestly, this sounds like it has a dual meaning, which is very common in Scripture, especially in the Bible. The dualism of the Bible is very common, and more particularly in the prophets. So it seems to me, first of all, there probably was a plague of locusts, whether that was in Judah or in Israel. Not sure, probably in Israel. And Joel uses this to illustrate this prophecy. He says, just like this is happening here, there's going to be an invasion in the land. Now, if this is taking place during the reign of Joash in Judah, then at the same time, Hazael of Syria is conquering the eastern portions of Israel in the north, and they are losing territory, which would make sense, which would fit this whole thing of an invading army coming in and destroying. But with that mention of the day of the Lord is at hand, call your solemn assembly, all this sounds like the restoration. This sounds like the apostasy. The locusts are symbolic of apostasy, of the church falling away completely. Everything is destroyed. The gospel is nowhere. That all the spiritual food, you could say, all the spiritual nourishment that was once had in the gospel is gone, because the authority is gone, the gospel is gone, and we have to return and restore ourselves. The restoration brought back was calling the solemn assembly in preparation for the Lord, the day of the Lord. Now, this is just my impression. I'm not saying, I don't know if any prophet has actually made this comparison. It's just, when I read this, that's what it makes me think of. So, there is this very brief Joseph Smith translation in this first chapter, and it's just in verse 6, says that, for a nation, in the King James, for a nation has come up upon my land of strong and without number, whose teeth are the teeth of a lion, and he hath the cheek teeth of a great lion. Joseph Smith added one word, and says, whose teeth are as the teeth of a lion. So it's a very simple change, but it makes the whole thing to be a metaphor, or technically a simile, and very simple change. Not much, nothing profound here, but did want to mention it. So anyways, we will pick this up in chapter 2. We will see you then.